In our lives, guilt can be one of the most destructive forces. It can be one of the things that prevents us from being happy, from moving forward to manifesting better things in our life. It's this block, it's this horrible thing that a lot of times we just can't get rid of. Let me see if I can give you an idea of another way of looking at guilt and looking at shame as tools. But more than that, I want to give you a way of sort of disassociating with the guilt and the shame that no longer serve you. And so imagine you are at a party with a bunch of friends, and there's some people playing a board game. And they're having a good time, they're having a bad time, whatever the case may be, but one of the players has to leave. So they get up, that person takes off, and they call you over. They say, hey, can you come here and take over for this person so we can finish the game? And you agree, although in real life you don't get to agree, you are just put into this position. But in the case of this game, you agree that you're going to go ahead and finish the game for them. You're going to sit down with everybody and you're going to pick up where the previous player left off. And as you sit down, you realize, wow, they really sucked at this. They were not very adept at playing this game. And whatever, doesn't matter, it's just a game, right? And so you go ahead and start playing, and as you're looking, again, you realize that they weren't very good at this, but you don't feel bad for the moves that they made previously. You don't feel bad for where they are in the game. You don't feel that guilt and shame. You don't feel embarrassment for the moves that they made previously, because they were a different player. They were someone who was less experienced, who didn't really know how to play the game as well as you do. So you just kind of let it go, and you can decide, well, I can cry about where I am in this game that I just joined, or I can just go ahead and make the best of where I am now and use my current skills to try and do as well as possible in the game, to deal with the consequences, to make it better, to see if the more experienced, the more intelligent me can now turn this around and I can move ahead in the game. I can excel in the game even. And so that you as a new player and that you as the previous player are how it is in your life. You had this player that was making these choices, that was taking these turns, and they were a different version of you. They were a previous version of you. And that's how it is now. You, hopefully, throughout your life, you use the guilt and shame that you feel for making these bad moves, these horrible turns that were made in the previous turns of the game. You turn those around using that guilt and shame. You say, oh, that didn't work. I'm going to do something different this time. I'm going to play the game better now. And as you do that, you literally become a better player, a different person, a new addition to the game. But you still are in this game that exists. So it's not like you're walking away from anything that you have, be that the bad choices that you've made in life, the maybe bad things that you've done in life. You're not walking away from those so much as you are now moving ahead and doing better with what you have, what you've been handed, so to speak, by this previous you, and you're doing the best that you can with it. And so even if somebody comes to you and says, well, you're an idiot, look at those bad choices that you made, you don't really need to accept that as being something about you, because it isn't about you. It's about this previous player of the game, about this previous player in your life. And so long as you have gone through the work of resolving the problems that you had before, resolving your ignorance perhaps, making yourself a better player, you don't really need to be as connected to and associated with that bad player, that inexperienced player. You can allow yourself to move forward, to see that you deserve better. Because when you're feeling guilt for this previous player and this previous self, it doesn't really do you any good. It doesn't help you play the game better by feeling guilt for the actions that they took, for the moves that they made. It doesn't help you progress unless, again, you haven't resolved those patterns or those problems that caused you to make the bad choices. So since your new self, your more experienced self, we'll just assume, has resolved those patterns that caused you to make those bad choices, it would be silly, it wouldn't be productive to feel guilty for the choices that they made. It would only be productive to move forward and make the best of the game that you can right now. Allow yourself to be that new person. Allow yourself to be open to manifesting more things in your life because you no longer feel guilty. You no longer feel undeserving. You now understand that you are this new person. You are this new entity that does a better job, and that you are allowed to have great things. You are allowed to manifest whatever you want. Don't let that guilt be a chain that holds you back. Recognize whether or not you've solved those problems, corrected those patterns. If you have, move forward. If you have not, then go ahead and use them as a tool to fix those problems, to encourage you to fix those problems. Use that guilt and shame to say, I need to fix this. Once you've fixed it, let it go, move forward, allow yourself to be a better person, allow yourself to bring into your life as much as you can possibly imagine that you deserve. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and be sure to like and share the video. Have a great day.